and faster rate. So I'm sure many of you have already heard of like DALL-E. That's a AI being used to create very creative artworks. And I'm sure many of you also heard of so many other AI algorithms which do different stuff. So we will get down to discussing those things later. But I just want to give a little brush up on what are the domains, what are the areas AI is already influencing, which we could leverage it. So some of things are, you know, uh, you know, AI could help in copywriting. So we don't need an expert all the time, and of course, AI is much faster. So anyway, AI can help in copywriting. It can help us in giving a good uh, jumpstart in getting a design inspirations absolutely out of this world, and then we can actually do actual design using AI. So there are Figma is gonna roll out some AI plugins which you can do a rough house. You can give a very high definition house, or a rough sketch of a shoe or a t-shirt. You can give a high definition version of a sneaker or a t-shirt. So this is already in motion. It's gonna hit you so hard that if you don't adapt it, we're gonna lose. We're gonna be left behind. And you already know there is voice assistants are heavily used, and that's again, you might argue, oh, voice assistants, it's not UI UX, nothing. No, it's actually is. There is a profession now being called as a VX called voice experience, or CX called customer experience. I mean, people can always coin different terms, but end of the day, it's experience. We can create those digital experience, and then the AI is also being used for usability testing. So there is not many tools out there yet, but there are tools already partially doing this. And I can already see so many benefits of usability testing being done by AI, and and then we can take over from there and do a much finer testing. And then there is AI already taking care of marketing needs. It's like now there is no need for a client with less money who just wanted to push his product. He can actually go to a chatbot right now and he can say, look, I need this. I need this website. This website needs to be simple, like 3, 4 descriptive lines. It can actually roll out a design website. He can say, I want a presentation. It will give you a presentation. He can say, I want a newsletter, or I want some kind of a video to push it in Instagram. It will give you. So it's already there, but of course it's not refined. But so many things are happening so fast that we need to catch up and leverage. And towards the end, I wish to show you a small exercise of familiar with DALL-E. If anybody familiar, great. Otherwise, DALL-E is just a AI algorithm which can generate images, graphics based on your text input. And DALL-E is one. And right now there is another AI is being of rage that is called a Mid Journey. Mid Journey is another AI just like DALL-E, but Midjourney is much more accessible. If you want it, you can actually go to midjourney.com, join their beta, and you can use them in a Discord server right now, free. So, but I'm gonna show you that experiment after a while, after Yash finished talking. So basically, you can give a description of whatever imagination you want: a flying cat, or Earth being exploding, or a elephant surfing in the sea, whatever nonsense. Anything you have in mind, just give me a description. I'm going to take the description, punch it in the server, and show the AI generated images on the fly. But that is after Yash is done. So, yeah, that's about it. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chris. Looking forward to that demo. Next, I'd like to invite Yash to share his views on AI assist in design
Yeah.
workflows.
Um, right now, AI is tends to be a buzzword, and I think it's very curious how it would affect your role as a designer, UX, UI, even front end. Um, So as Chris said, as a designer, it's not a static role. While some elements of it, the process, UX process, human psychology, design psychology, they remain the same. But the actual way, the actual workflows, how we collaborate, how we go through the whole process, that is constantly evolving. Now, I have come to this process recently, but those who have been Chris, um, um, Jilson Marche, who've been working in design for a while, they will realize that their role must have like the tools which are new tools come and go, and all sorts of changes are happening. So it's better if we can instead of getting intimidated, because there are risks, honestly, with those to your to your because then I think rather than being scared of that, if we embrace it, if we make you realize how, rather than being affected by these tools and by these technologies, how we can leverage those as to become better designers and to become more productive and efficient. I think we can. It's a good discussion to have. Now, for example, if we look at today's design workflow, you have research and analysis that goes first. Then you have the brainstorming and ideation. Then you have from ideation, the sketches you turn into digital, the wireframing, from low fidelity to UI design. And of course, like once you move on to actually developing or creating, coding the design, as well as testing, AI tools at different levels of sophistication right now are available, which will actually help you improve at many multiple stages. And there is a lot of gray area also, because these tools, we don't know, since the growth is so exponential, a lot of these the technology is there, but the use cases we are just starting to realize in terms of how we can leverage those. So I'm looking forward to this conversation.
Thank you so much, Yash. So before we jump into questions and conversations, I'd like to invite Chris to show the very interesting demo that he's promised us. So over to you, Chris. You're on mute.
All right. So let me share my screen. So look at this. So this is going to be a plugin called Anton. It's going to be available for Figma, right? And look, what he's doing is he's doing a really a basic primitive shape. And then all he does is hit a button and gives a description about how that has to evolve. When he hits the button, see, look at that. Yeah, see all this variation? And you see the neck is smaller, so he's just editing it a little larger, like higher. And you see the rendered image. This is like another level. And imagine all these things can happen for fashion designer. I mean, we're just worried about UI UX. Imagine fashion designers. Somebody can just draw a simple shape, and then it throws so many clothing options, right? It just mind blowing. So how do we? So now there are so many options out there. It's up to us. What do we pick? What do we do with it? So that's where the challenge, real challenge, comes in. Anyway, so the actual interesting part is, this is Discord, and this is a server called Midjourney. Anybody can join. It's free. So all these images you see, it's exactly like DALL-E, but from other Twitter users' comment, they feel Midjourney is better than DALL-E. So there we go. So all these images are created by Midjourney. It's a AI. So you see the description. They say vibrant frog on a lake, light rain, and when you give that, this is the image they get. So now I can actually produce an image. If anybody care to give me a description of any wild ideas, I can go.
Ajnesh?
Any wild
A
ideas?
swimming pigeon.
That's easy. Difficult, please.
Mohanlal with the avatar face.
Who? Mohanlal.
With or Shah Rukh Khan with the avatar face. Show me.
No Mohanlal fans. Lot of Mohanlal fans here.
Shah Rukh Khan.
അതുക്കും മേലെ വേണം അതുക്കും മേലെ.
Avatar face. Do you know Avatar? Like Avatar movie? Avatar.
Yeah. Shall I do Mohanlal or Shah Rukh Khan?
Shah Rukh Khan.
Mohanlal man.
Okay. So all I do is this. I need to type / imagine, and then I can do whatever I want. So Mohanlal with
Avatar.
avatar face. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I hit done. So this one, you see, I go hit reactions. I say, okay, send me once this is done, send it to me. That's not. So every single second, there are so many requests coming up. So this kind of gets lost. This is not an avatar face, but we are getting somewhere.
Yeah,
But
looks like Mohanlal.
At least it knows Mohanlal.
Actually, UI profile picture is also name as avatar, right? So that is what.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that way. Yes. So I'm gonna give another one. Say, let's say a fish climbing a tree. Shall I? Yeah.
Yes.
Shall we? All right. So once I do this, frequently used when I say, send to my mailbox, what will happen is once this is done, it will create another channel and it will show it to me. So 31%, 48, and look, 66, still going. And more descriptive I am, it's gonna give a lot of amazing ideas. If I say I want like neon effect, it will give a neon effect. So you see now, this is like a tree. You see that?
Chris, you want to take requests?
Yeah.
Anyone wants to ask?
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? Look at this potential. Imagine every image has the potential to become a cover image, right? Or you can take some inspiration from this and do it your own style. But at least if you find it hard to imagine, this is an amazing tool to give you those possibilities.
I have a request.
Tell me.
I'd like to see a sage monkey.
Sage monkey. That's
under
it?
a neon, no, under a neon mushroom.
Neon mushroom.
Butterflies all around, and it's raining.
Meditating under mushroom. Okay. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say all this effect mushroom. I'll say comma, say neon, comma,
Neon.
Raining. Okay.
Rain. Yeah.
Let's go. Come on.
I
30%.
think you
If you,
missed the butterflies. You missed
which
that
one?
butterflies. Butterflies missed.
Butterfly. Yeah, I didn't
But
input butterfly.
it's fine.
You see in one of this image, it's put a mushroom like a hat.
Yeah.
Look at this. This is actually a monkey. If you look close, this is actually a monkey itself.
Mm,
Yeah.
But what? Mm.
And
So,
now let's imagine if you like
so
version
is it
4.
the descriptions like so like how descriptive you are or like
Correct. That is correct.
mm,
Yes. So now you can actually put a sage monkey meditating under mushroom inside a Kerala house. Then you will see Kerala house, Kerala style house.
okay, got it.
And now you got this version. And what you can do further is, if, for example, this is the version 4, right? So if you hit this button, it will show you more variations of this version 4. So that's also possible.
Mm. Can
So
people use these images like somewhere?
it is absolutely no license or nothing. It's free. It's your creation.
Okay, so do you get like high quality versions of this?
Yes, you can. So you see, there is U1, U2. This is basically you click a certain thing. It basically upscales the image. So U4 means I want upscaling of version 4. So you hit that,
Mm,
you will get a higher version, 1024 pixel, I
okay.
guess. But if you want
Mm-hmm.
larger, then you need to subscribe. You need to pay like $30 per month, something like that.
Mm-hmm. Got it.
Then of course you can do n number of queries. You can send so many requests.
Okay, so
So
Chris, I have doubts. So like here I see
mm,
most of the images that we have created right now has a similar style, right?
yeah,
So if I want to like change the style to some like I want to see something like a Michelangelo's painting or like a
you
3D
can
view of a house. Okay.
you can do
Mm,
that. You can do that. Look, this image is like a
okay.
golden effect, right? It's diverse. It just some people actually say it's a golden trident, extra detail, water theme. You see, sometimes I have seen people saying Dragon Ball Z and then put some other theme. So it takes the Dragon Ball Z theme. So here you see Jedi lightsaber. It's taking up Star Wars theme. So the style is so unique. Now you see, this is an example. It's amazing theme, right? So all you need to do is describe. You see this style. It's so thought provoking.
I tried Gandhi with a gun. I will share the result in the chat.
Okay. Yeah. So and now we have this. 3 months later, we never know. There are so many new AIs coming in, filling up so many other gaps.
Anyone? Last go. And okay, let's probably hear from Anish. Anish is there? Anish, do you want, or Kannan, anyone wants to just ask or give a prompt?
I have one, Chris.
Yeah.
Sharon has.
Yeah, Cyberpunk Kerala 2050.
Okay. So my limit is out, but before that,
Okay.
I'm gonna show you something. Okay. You see this video? Can you guess what's happening? Yeah.
Is it AI?
What is AI?
What is it?
Yeah. So this is not an actual person. This is generated by an AI itself. And you see, it's not a static image, right? It's actual video. Look. So what they do is they basically give some character celebrity's name, and then they're saying, hey, I want like a remix of these two characters. And then what it does is it provides those images, like hundreds of images. And then they take these images and then parse it. And then they provide these images to another AI. It's called Convert Skeleton. And what Convert Skeleton does is, let's see. Yeah. What it does is it makes a 3D model based off the images you provide, like the hundreds and thousands of images you provide, which was again generated by AI. Then there is another AI called Deep Motion, where you take a 2D video of motion, and then it will extract the animation, and then you can take that animation and apply it to the 3D model which you generated. Then end result is this, totally virtual, but nobody knows. Now imagine the filmmakers and content creators. They could absolutely create a new avatar and pretend to be that person, and nobody will know for sure. But how it is possible? Yeah. And is it expensive? No. It's mostly free, sometimes even. And I told you about the Anton plugin, right? Which the Figma uses. That uses a technology called Stable Diffusion Library. The Figma guy, the plugin creator, uses this technology to create that plugin. In fact, if there is any developers within our team who is enthusiastic to explore, they can actually leverage this library and create their own code. And it is public, it is open. It doesn't cost a thing. All it takes is curiosity. If somebody takes up this up, it's amazing. We can think about creating our own plugin using AI even.
So, Chris,
I
this
will
needs a
stop there.
lot of data to process, right? A lot of data.
That's the job of library, right? The library does those things. I don't know what are the other dependencies, but the developers has to look into it. If they look into it, there are so many ways this could be leveraged because it's a public library now. It's no longer belongs to MIT or anyone. The possibilities are just
Mhm.
endless.
Okay.
So Ajnish can have a look at it when he's free.
Yeah.
Stable diffusion.
Thank you,
Chris,
Chris.
will we be like, so if somebody creates an image, can we track the source of that image, or who created that image, all those stuff? Is there any traceability?
That's a problem, right? I think there should be some kind of a provision. In fact, 2-3 years ago, Adobe launched a software to make audio generation, and what they did is you can give a celebrity's name and like Bill Clinton or anyone, it will actually synthesize the audio based on that. But they couldn't put any footprint saying that this was generated using such a tool. So because of that, after millions and millions of investment, they actually scrapped it. So this is gonna cause a lot of legal issues, but people gonna find a solution anyway. But yeah, what you said is absolutely true. That footprint is gonna cause a lot of confusion and accountability issue. Some people will actually do it and say, "I didn't do it. It's an AI."
Mm-hmm.
So that's always there.
Thank you for the questions. I'd like to also ask, thank you, Chris. It was really interesting, mind blowing. I think we all had a lot of fun watching, and maybe we are a little threatened, I'm not sure. But I'd like to invite Yash. Yash, I have a question for you. So, do you think AI is going to replace UX design? Like, what do you think?
The answer probably is yes and no. Like I said, what is a UX designer? And that role is changing over time as technology improves. But so if I think underlying what the question you're asking is the question is, as a UX designer, what are the risks to if you choose this career path, or whether your job will be replaced by them, or what can you do to mitigate that? I think that is the underlying question behind your question. So yes, there are parts of it. The usually historically you can see that as we started, industrialization happened at the beginning of last century, and that time also people were worried about the same things. Oh, like automation will replace our jobs. Then as automated driving, AI, Tesla started coming around. The question was that if they are replacing what people do for a living, like what can we do? The point is, like, you will become more efficient and you will focus your efforts on more, for example, in the UX design phase, when we are sketching out, there are a lot of activities which are, honestly, I can say they're not as much fun. There is the fun, which is the ideation, the research, the brainstorming. And there are some phases where you are taking the sketches and converting them into the low fidelity wireframes, and constantly revising them and constantly updating them, which is a lot of manual effort goes into it. And many people, like, even if I ask them, they would prefer not to do it if they could outsource it to someone. So right now we can outsource it to other people, or we can. So, but if so, the automatable parts of the process, those will probably, likely it is possible they will get automated. But as a designer, what your job is to find design solutions. You are essentially a problem solver, and the aspects of it, such as the research, the figuring out requirements, understanding what your stakeholder needs are, what the client needs are, and translating them into a design solution, are things which AI is unlikely for the next 15, 20 years. That is unlikely to be automated unless the stakeholders and the clients themselves and the people heading these companies are replaced by AI. So, which is not going to happen in our lifetime. So, I think you can do things to mitigate the risks that could be there. So I think for the next few years, I think we have 5 years, I think it should be fine. We'll have tools which will take over the repetitive part of it. Lot of the creative part of it, it's possible, where one person might be able to do, designer might be able to do the work that maybe 3 or 4 can do right now. So maybe 5 or 10 years down the line, that is, but the role itself of a designer will expand, so that they will be focusing more on other areas, on the creative, the idea generation, the problem solving, which humans are very, very good at. While the tedious work, the repetitive work, will be able to outsource it essentially to AI assistants. I think which will be definitely a good development. For example, in the research phase, when you are doing a lot of literature review, if you have an automatable tool which kind of you can feed them, give them 6 or 7 or 10 links, and I don't have time to go through all those 10 white papers or articles. You can feed it into your assistant and it will give you the core ideas and output from those things. So it will save you time in the research phase. When you are generating ideas like what Chris showed here, is you don't, okay, you will say that maybe we asked for a, monkey sage meditating under a mushroom, and it did not show. But what it did show, it gave you a lot of ideas and inspiration, which you can now, visual designers can play off of. Similarly, the reason that the output might not have been to our liking, but it's not only about one. We are also understanding the language of AI. So what Chris, when he's giving that input, he's we are testing out the edges of what words, what inputs we can give the AI to get. And as you get better at that, as you play around with it more as a designer, you will get better and better at getting a good output from that tool. For example, someone who is just playing around with that tool, they don't know how to get the right image they want. There will be a lot of trial and error involved. While someone who is an expert, who has a lot of experience using something like DALL-E to create even image generation, they'll be much faster at generating the outputs which are appropriate. Now, one use case, for example, on a project we are working on, the UI team, Najim Shah specifically, they were creating illustrations and artwork. So a lot of questions came in whether these are copyrightable, are these stock, are these things we have created, what are the, these are questions both internally also and the client is also asking. But if you're using an AI generated tool, you can just give them, we want to show a female doctor who is in a ward with children wearing a mask or wearing with a stethoscope. And you can even give certain requirements around the color palette that you want the artwork to follow. And the AI will be able to quickly give you like lots and lots of different ideas and iterations, which then you can, the designer can work with, can play around with. So it is actually a very useful tool that it's almost like having a bunch of people who are helping you with creating and generating outputs. So I think of it like an extended brain. The AI will be like a layer on top of your existing capacities and capabilities, and you will be able to leverage that. The more skilled you are, the more skilled the better your output will be, the more efficient you will be. If you are unskilled, if you don't understand basics of design, that user will not be able to leverage it to get the best output. So in a roundabout way, I think there is risk in certain areas, but in a lot of ways, there is also much more opportunity which is available to you to improve your productivity and efficiency as a designer. Thank you.
Thank you, Yash. That was very informative. I'd like to, so we actually like haven't had a lot of questions. So I'd like to open up the floor for any questions from, or anything knowledge you want to share. Anyone else from the audience? Calling Prinju, Shibin, anyone, Svina, anyone to ask a question. Maybe you have a question on UI.
In Visual Studio Code, there is a like AI-based plugin called Git Copilot. So what it does is like, if we want to take a factorial of a number of 10, then it will give us a function that is available in the public repo. So it will provide us the exact code snippet that is available in the public repo. So this is like a new thing for the coding area.
That's interesting.
That's nice. It's nice.
That's nice.
Anyone else on development side? Anyone?
What is this friend?
Yeah.
Has
What is
any
this friend, Appa?
thing to share?
Yash.
Sharath, I'd like to hear from you if it's okay.
And and this?
That's Jinsen. This is Vandana.
Hello.
This?
That's Vandana.
We
This is
met in the
Jinsen.
morning.
Ah,
And this?
that's you.
You me? And Appa?
Yeah, me and the.
So I have a question, man, in terms of like
Yes.
purely back to the security aspect. So Yash mentioned about the AI probably help us to analyze the data and probably give us some insights, right? So how can we trust all these AI bot or AI system? Like, so we are giving some research data, and how we can trust that the data will be secure, all those stuff.
It's not. It really boils down to their terms of use, their privacy policy. And so, for example, when I used copy.ai, that's a copywriting AI. So when I give a sample text, what it does is actually scrapes content from other website, other copies, and then try to remix everything and then give you, right? For example, if I'm trying to write a copy about Mintra, okay, about a different aspect, it could possibly scraping the information from Zara, okay, and then some of the copy will actually say Zara.com something something. So we need to, and whatever we put in, we don't know what kind of disclaimer, what kind of privacy policy they have to keep it or to share among other users. So that is something finer footprints we need to look into. I think there may be tools which can do that, but they may charge a premium fee to keep their data, because more data, more better they can train their AI, right? If you want to avoid that step, then they might expect us to pay something extra.
More expensive, right?
Yeah, it is. But Jensen, after we spoke about usability, in usability, there is one of the bottleneck is the some of the clients are so confidential in usability services, they would expose the platform or the web application to new users, right, somewhere across the globe for testing. And some of our clients may not want that, because they say it's confidential, it should be within the organization, we don't want this to go out. Exactly because of those reasons, we will not expose our solutions to a larger group, right? But if it is AI, then AI can create so many personalities and there is no problem, right? Everything stays within the pool. We are not violating, we are not exposing this data to outside world. So in a way, it's good, but it has not evolved to the point that we can start using it. But you can possibly look into, there is a service called Wave or Weave, forgot. You can see if it is making any sense, if it can simplify anything, we can take a dig at it.
So Wave means, have you tried Wave or? So
I know,
what
I know.
exactly Wave does?
Ajneesh, right?
Uh, Wave, one moment.
Bring through Ajneesh.
It is just a combination of the AI and the people. Right now, it's completely driven by the people and the volunteers or whoever participate in those exercise. But here, there is certain percentage of activities are being controlled by the AI. So it's a combination. I haven't tried it because I had to pay for it. But looking at the website, it looks like they are leading the way in terms of usability initiatives. They're leading the way, and I can connect with you separately. And if it makes sense, we can experiment in some project.
So we've extended the meeting a bit. So we have another 2 minutes if anyone wants to ask a question. Parameshwaran, anyone?
Okay,
I-
so I just what I found is
Go
that
ahead.
this is actually helping us to conceptualize ideas actually in a certain level. That is what I have seen in the screen. So yeah, that is helping a lot actually.
Right.
I don't know how much of it a risk we are to some extent plagiarism. So that is a concern, right? This that you were talking about. Yash, what do you think?
Yeah, I think as you go through the design process, there are phases. You have alternating phases of converging ideas and divergent. So divergent is when you are expanding, going outward and generating ideas, generating creativity, options. We create multiple wireframes. We create multiple UI designs. We discuss them among them. We validate it internally, validate it externally with the team development. So all these process is a constantly, we are first expanding outwards to create and generate ideas. And then we are like collapsing them into like one or like a few. So I think what the conceptualizing is like any part where there is this divergent process where you have to give some small input and create many, you can do that. So that way, it will, you can have the tool or the AI tool create all these different multiple outputs for you to parse through. And then you can just select through them. You can just make a few choices and you can kind of remix those options that you have, let's say 2 or 3, and then remix them into, so humans will be, you will be involved in the convergent process, but the divergent process you can outsource to the creative process, the generation process. That I think you can outsource to existing tools, whether you use it officially or you can use it behind the scenes just to generate kickoff ideas in your own mind, even if you don't use the output directly.
And also one more thing I have noticed is that we are getting different levels of conceptualization. Like maybe when a person says it's like a monkey with a mushroom, it's showing the monkey image and the mushroom. At the same time, in another image, it's like the monkey's nose will be shown as a mushroom's, I mean, that stem. So it's very, it's like a, you are decomposing an image from the original to different levels. So that is also really helpful, I think. It's giving different perspective to the same thing.
It is. It is. That's what will give you a spark, right? All as a designer, all we need is that little spark to think about. Oh, this seems to be a good idea. Why not? These are the spark, and most of the time we run out of spark. So this could actually help. Uh, yeah.
Thank you. So I'd like to just invite uh, Chris first to just give your comments on today's discussion, and then I'll invite you here.
Okay. So, in my opinion, my humble request is, AI is not a threat. It's not gonna take away your job. The only way, the only risk is that you narrow your uh, performance. You narrow your scope of work. So when we say UX, it's not just about something you do it on a computer, on a laptop, or on a mobile screen experience. It could be something beyond. For example, if somebody says, I need in Cochin, I need the highways are horrible. I need a better design highways. You cannot put up your hands and say, I'm a UX designer. I design only on a mobile phone experience or on a web page. I cannot go to a physical road and decide where should be the plant, how the lawn should be designed, what paint should be painted. I cannot do that. You see, that that blockage has to be broken, and we need to think beyond a screen experience, a glass experience, because everything is experience. When you aim for designing those things, every update, everything is just evolution. So yeah, just my thought. Thank you for the opportunity.
So much, Chris. I'd like to ask Yash your closing comments.
Um, See, let me speak about what makes a designer or what makes a good designer. It is not only the technical skills, it is often like a combination of the technical skills you have, the experience you have, domain knowledge, generalized knowledge. Um, Again, it depends on your imagination and creativity, how solid your processes are, as well as your ability to understand problems and strategically solve them. So it's all of these, and as well as there will be projects which have competing deadlines, which have competing priorities, and you have to negotiate not only with people, but with these priorities, with these different teams. So that is not going to go away. So what I think AI will help us do as a designer, because we are uniquely positioned, is it will help us automate all these repetitive tasks. It will help us, tasks you don't like, the tasks which are more time intensive, but not necessarily the best use of your time, which can be spent on more strategic side of design. So I think the repetitive things you can outsource, we can automate, and you will be left free to focus more on the high level, what it means to be a designer. I think that is what humans generally are best at. So I think we can both, I think there is a win-win somewhere in the middle rather than a compromise. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Yash. Thank you once again, Chris and Yash, for bringing such insights, sharing your views and knowledge. I'm sure you've also done some extra reading up just for today's session. And thank you for taking it up on such short notice. I'm sure none of you would believe that we just decided day before yesterday we'd have this session. And yesterday we find
I think we lost you a bit, Vandana, for a few seconds.
to start conversation. Yeah. You were saying, Chris?
No, we lost you for a few seconds.
Oh, okay, sure. Okay. So basically, yeah, network issues. So we thought this was a tough topic, and I wasn't really sure about it, but I think this is the exact topic to actually start off our first panel discussion, to get us thinking, to get us curious, to just push us a bit to start learning a little more. Thank you for being a part of this very, very interesting, topic, that's AI assist in design workflows. Thank you to all the participants who made this session interactive. And thank you, a big thank you to all the volunteers of the IXTF Kerala team that worked behind the scenes to make this event happen. We've only touched upon this topic. This is something for us as a team to start thinking about, to learn about, to talk more about amongst ourselves. So the whole point of having this discussion is to not just listen to our panelists, but to also learn on our own and share that knowledge amongst us. So I hope this has started off a spark to know more about this and many other topics. Hope to see you soon next month as we come to you with another webinar. Stay safe, stay connected. Thank you.
Thank you, Vandana. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Vandana. Thank you, Chris. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Idea how stressed you. Okay, cool. Thanks. Bye.